action here from the Ultimate Fighting Championship in Atlantic City, New Jersey. Welterweights now, call it the #1 contender matchup. Frank Trigg, his opponent, Charuto Verissimo, would like to keep this fight on the ground. It's a welterweight war.
Frank Trigg is an amazing athlete and one of the best strikers in the UFC. Always in excellent condition, Trigg has also added striking and submission skills to complement his formidable wrestling ability. Trigg hopes to be victorious and earn another shot at the UFC World Welterweight title.
This fight is going to end early and it's going to end violently, just like every one of my fights. Now, Ultimo, I run right out there, hit him with a straight left, and then, it breaks his nose and the fight's over.
Charuto Verissimo is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt who made an impressive UFC debut, defeating former welterweight champion Carlos Newton by unanimous decision. In his next match, he nearly submitted former champion Matt Hughes in the first round, but ended up losing a decision. Now Verissimo is back to try and prove that it is he, not Trigg, who deserves a shot at the title.
If I predict to be, come in and get a good, combination, see if, get a bad shot, capitalize from that bad shot, going to his back or, working my submissions, and hopefully I can make him tap or, I can knock him out in the first combination that I throw.
Coming up next, Frank Trigg takes on Charuto Verissimo.
Tail of the tape for this welterweight matchup. Brought to you by Science Extreme Supplements for extreme athletes. Look for them at your favorite health food stores and gyms. 32-year-old Frank Trigg, 31-year-old Charuto Verissimo, and yes, there is a definitive reach advantage with Trigg at just 5'9" and Verissimo at 6'1". Let's get this one underway. And our referee for this matchup between Trigg and Verissimo will be Herb Dean.
You ready? You ready to fight? You ready to fight? Let's do it.
Here we go. Frank made an interesting comment. The basis of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is defense. So Frank Trigg wants to be offensive against this BJJ black belt.
There's a good example. Looked like Charuto wants to go for the takedown. And again, superior wrestling that Trigg has. He's controlling the hips. He's keeping his hips out. Charuto went for a little judo inside leg sweep. Trigg easily stepped over the top. Comes again. Good hip control.
Now Trigg wants to strike and continue to strike and not just get into a wrestling-only mentality. He said sometimes when you see those kind of takedown opportunities like a $10,000 bill, you don't know if it's real or not, because it isn't, but it's sitting on the floor, you want to grab it.
Definitely.
So he wants to show his I think, wide array of talents here tonight, Frank.
Which is a good thing for a fighter to have a good attitude, to say, look, I want to show I'm versatile. But bottom line is you have to do what it takes to win. I think a lot of fighters need to realize, go for victory, do what you do well, show your versatility when what you do well doesn't work, and you have to switch to something else.
Matching the pace will be key for Verissimo because Frank Trigg always pushes the pace. He thinks that will help to force mistakes and cause some cardio fatigue, as Verissimo now has Frank Trigg pushed up against the fence.
Definitely, and one thing that this is taking a look at Charuto's using all his body to go ahead and power down on Trigg. Trigg's not having to do a whole lot, but just go ahead and block hips. He's delivering a few knees to the midsection, chipping shots. How much energy is this taking out of Charuto? I have to guess that's tiring. He's a jiu-jitsu guy, not a wrestler. That when you're doing something you're not used to, exchange of hands.
Yep, they got it right in there. And there you go. And now that is wrestling 101. That's the mentality. Not always a bad thing because Frank Trigg was able to avoid the other strikes.
Now we're going to see the two style clashes.
Right.
Again, we said Trigg wanted to do stand-up. Started to get in trouble. Immediately his instincts took over and he shot on Charuto. Now it's the wrestler inside, the jiu-jitsu man's guard.
Up against the fence. I'd like to throw out a happy anniversary to Steve and Beth Morrow, who are huge Ultimate Fighting Championship fans. And they are spending their anniversary with us. Steve and Beth Morrow, happy anniversary from all of us at Zuffa in the Ultimate Fighting Championship. Closed guard now. Frank Trigg does have the advantage of pushing Verissimo on the fence though.
Armbar. Now to a leg lock. He's switching off. Great combination. If Frank Trigg falls down, he's in trouble. Charuto's doing a spider guard. He's spinning out, taking a lot of abuse.
And that's what Frank Trigg talked about. As he tries to submit me, I'm going to punch him in the face. And that's what he's trying to do. He said it's hard to cap off a submission, when you're getting punched in the face. And there's some shots.
Charuto puts himself in a bad position to be going what he's going for. He's going for sport jiu-jitsu. He does have a triangle attempt. Trigg's powering out. No, he's caught in the,
Trigg able to power out, and again he buries down a left. Now Trigg is caught on his face, but he's starting to abuse Charuto Verissimo.
Very aggressive on top, doing exactly what he said he was going to do. I'm going to punish my opponent. So far, the Charuto attempts on submissions were being nullified, and Trigg made him pay every time he went for a submission.
Contrasting styles colliding, basically, aren't they, Frank?
Definitely. I mean, you're seeing the mistakes, and maybe the moves that Charuto's going for a little too sportive.
All right, now they are back on their feet. Let's see if Trigg is comfortable engaging. Remember the reach advantage, but Trigg feels he's the better striker. He ducks inside, and down they go again. 135 remains in round one.
Again, going for a leg lock, and Trigg blocked it. He's coming over the top of the punches. I wonder if Charuto's going to feel the same confidence to go for it. Again, Charuto has a triangle attempt locked up. He's over the shoulder. This time it's a lot deeper. If he pulls down on the head and drives his hips up, this move could finish out Trigg if Trigg does not get around the corner and get his head out. Trigg's in trouble. Trigg is in a lot of trouble.
Frank Trigg trying to survive, trying to cut off the air. Is Verissimo.
He's in trouble.
He's locked in. Can Trigg avoid? Trying to throw down a haymaker.
Look for Charuto.
Oh my, what a great job by Frank Trigg.
Great escape.
How much danger was he in there?
In a lot of danger. Most guys would not have gotten out of that. That shows the ability of Trigg to escape. A lot of the heart really got him out of that. That wasn't a clean technical escape.
That was just powering out of it, wasn't it, Frank?
And that makes me wonder now, what does that do gas-wise? When you power out of things, you're not using technique, it's tiring. But again, it's also disheartening for Charuto to lock up an almost submission. You almost got the guy powers out of it. It takes a little out of you, too.
Slippery submissions, very calm, likes to lull you to sleep, is what Frank Trigg said about Charuto Verissimo. And so far, the pace has been pushed, but there have been multiple submission attempts here in the contest so far. Trigg back up. He's going to try to come down and come down hard.
And this is another example of Trigg's confidence. The guard has been open. He could step out of it. He didn't feel comfortable being in there. He is pursuing a ground game. He's not avoiding the submission game at all.
Round one is in the books. Round one, a good one.
Great round. You see the triangles. It was tight. All he did basically was slam down and pull his head out. Charuto didn't really have maybe the elbow caught deep enough. That escape was more of a luck thing. A little bit of sweat, a little bit of fatigue on Charuto's side maybe. Not a clean escape, and that takes energy out of you.
Coming up later tonight, our co-main event of the evening for the welterweight championship. The French-Canadian Georges St. Pierre takes on the former five-time defending welterweight champion, the farm boy, Matt Hughes. That later tonight. Matt Hughes arriving earlier today here at Atlantic City's Boardwalk Hall. Matt was ornery yesterday during the weigh-ins. Didn't have a whole lot to say. Earlier tonight, he's out watching his buddy Tony Fricklin fight, accompanied by his twin brother Mark, former heavyweight champion Tim Sylvia, former thanks to you, by the way, Frank Mir, and Matt Hughes will fight later tonight.
You know, an interesting, I think this fight's going to come down to be honest with you, is conditioning.
Yeah.
Both fighters are equal martial artists. They have different things they're good at, but both are nullifying each other's offenses, and they both have great defenses to the other guy's attributes. Let's see who gets tired first. The first round was very tiring to both guys.
Well, as an American wrestler, as he calls himself quite frequently, Frank Trigg is very confident that he has superior conditioning. I guess we'll find out firsthand here tonight.
And this is not a good position for Charuto. His hips are up, his head is down. That tires you out. That's in maybe the groin.
Frank Trigg motioning to Herb Dean, but it looks like he is fine. Both are trying to throw some knees in the clinch. Trigg, very much like we see out of Team Quest and Couture and Lindland. I mean, he's a wrestler, so he likes control. Not a Greco-Roman wrestler like those guys, but still likes the wrestling control. Oh, they're exchanging.
It's going.
And Verissimo was rocked. Trigg trying to finish him off. Verissimo ducked under the combination, but he was stunned momentarily.
He was. Trigg looks the sharper puncher.
Trigg
Those are illegal.
Got to be careful he doesn't take the elbow to the back of the head. He can take it to the side.
That was a leaner downward drop. I don't know why the referee isn't allowing that to happen, to be honest with you.
Man, I'm going to stop it. You need to do something.
You You can go from the side with the elbows. You can just not go to the crown of the head.
What I was meaning by the illegal elbows, to me, it seemed very obvious that he was hitting the back of his head.
Right.
Coming down on the back of the head is an illegal move inside the UFC.
Absolutely correct. You can go from the sides, and that is obviously to protect our fighters, because fighters' safety is of the ultimate importance.
Definitely, Trigg's stand-up looks sharper than Charuto. Charuto is throwing sloppy punches. Trigg shot clean punches, and he's exactly where he wants to be. He's in Charuto's half guard. He's going to pin him down and grind him out. Trigg's not exerting a lot of energy right here. And Charuto's going to have to exert some energy to get out of here, which is energy that I don't know how much he has left to spare.
Well, Frank Trigg, the four-time USA Wrestling All-American and 2000 Olympic Trials finalist, is really proud of the work he has done with his striking. Verissimo is in trouble. Verissimo's in trouble, and it is all over. It is all over. Frank Trigg has won here in the second round by referee stoppage. And Frank Trigg is victorious.
To me, again, it looked like it came down to a lot of conditioning there. Frank Trigg was doing exactly what he wanted to do, using strikes, defending the takedown. He kept the fight where he wanted to keep it. Verissimo got fatigued. And then Trigg was able to finish it off with a few elbows.
How impressive he was in round one to avoid the submission attempt. And then as we talked about, a wrestler, I mean, obviously you're Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but you've been wrestling, you know the wrestling mentality. Right. They just take so much pride in conditioning.
They do. There's a combination being thrown here. Again, Charuto stepping forward, his chin's up, he's looking sloppy due to fatigue. Here Trigg is, sharp punches, hands inside. You can see straight punches beat sloppy punches, and then forcing Charuto to go ahead and shoot.
And in the end of the fight,
at this point, I think Charuto's just fatigued. He has nothing left. He's just holding on. At this point, it's just the referee has to stop the fight. All that's going to happen now is we're going to damage a world-class fighter.
And remember, rule number one, a fighter must be able to intelligently defend himself.
Oh, and that's a good thing.
Yep. Hey, and Herb Dean is the one who stopped the fight between you and Tim Sylvia when Tim wanted to go on. Tim Sylvia came back later and thanked Herb Dean for saving his career. So a great stoppage here by our referee, Herb Dean. Frank Trigg is victorious inside the octagon here tonight in Atlantic City, New Jersey. Let's throw it inside to Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Herb Dean has called a stop to this contest at 2 minutes, 10 seconds of the second round. For the winner by TKO, Frank Twinkle Toes Trigg.